Do you hate that burning feeling in your eyes every time you have to cut a whole pile of onions? Most people simply try to put up with that uncomfortable feeling or spend money on a specialized slicing machine. But do not rush to spend your hard-earned money on that. With just a few empty milk cans and some inexpensive materials already available around the house, I am going to build an extremely simple onion slicer. Keep watching because these discarded cans can do much more than you might think. Place the drill bit in the correct position and make each hole. The metal at the bottom is fairly thin, so hold the can firmly to keep the drill bit from slipping away from the marks. Place a ruler between the two holes and connect them with a straight line. Trace the line again so the cut is easier to see, then use an angle grinder to cut along the mark. The bottom gradually opens into a slot between the two holes. The freshly cut metal edge is quite sharp, so keep the can steady while working. Use a screwdriver to gently pry up the cut section of metal and separate it from the bottom of the can. Once the piece comes free, use a file to remove the burrs and smooth all the surrounding edges. With each pass, the sharp edge becomes flatter and the opening becomes cleaner. I keep filing carefully until no excessively sharp points remain anywhere. Then move to the can lid, place the drill bit exactly in the center, and make a hole in the middle for the next component. The center hole needs to be straight, so the metal rod can pass through the middle of the lid and keep the mechanism more stable. Next comes an ordinary plastic bottle cap. Mark the exact center and drill one large hole in the middle. Switch to a smaller drill bit and make 2 additional holes on both sides. The center hole is for the metal rod, while the 2 smaller holes will hold the fixed parts. Even spacing helps keep the components balanced during assembly. Once the holes are finished, use a utility knife to make a small slot in the bottle cap. Cut only as much as needed at the marked position. There is no need to make the opening too wide. This slot gives the metal component room to slide into place more easily during assembly. I prepare a suitable length of metal rod and cut off the section needed for the build. Use sandpaper to gradually sharpen one end, rotating the rod so the tip is shaped evenly. This will be the part that passes through the food when the device is operating. While I finish this metal rod, tell me what country you are watching from. I want to know where our DIY community is watching from. Start assembling the mechanism by using 2 pairs of pliers to shape the metal rod. Insert 2 screws through the 2 small holes in the bottle cap and tighten them securely with a screwdriver. Feed the metal rod through the large center hole and check the position of the parts. Once everything is balanced, use hot glue to secure the metal rod to the bottle cap, then let it dry. The first homemade project is almost complete, but we still do not know how it will handle an onion. The second empty milk can is saved for a completely different use. Remove the lid, place the can on the table, then use a marker and ruler to draw a straight line down the body. Measure and mark the necessary positions about 10 centimeters on both sides, then connect the marks with a ruler to create clear cutting lines. Use an angle grinder to cut 2 lines near the upper and lower sections along the marks you just made. Continue by cutting the vertical line between those 2 boundaries so the metal section can open. When finished, use your hands to adjust the cut section, then use a file to smooth all the edges. The new shape of the can begins to become clear. Use a suitable tool to widen the cuts on both sides. Then use a hammer to work the folds, tapping a little at a time, so the metal becomes flatter and holds the desired shape. Making the adjustments gradually helps keep the can body stronger and limits excessive deformation. Mark 4 positions on the body of the can, then drill 4 matching holes. Insert 4 long bolts through the holes to create the base legs. Once all 4 support legs are firmly in the correct positions, secure a small grill grate on top to complete the structure. At this point, the overall shape is becoming much easier to recognize. If you have already guessed what it is leave your answer before seeing the result. Use a drill to make a few more holes in the necessary positions on the can body. Then reuse a piece of welding rod to make a support for the charcoal. Place the rod in the correct position so the charcoal has a place to sit inside. Once the support is finished, the second can is ready to be tested outdoors. Take the device outside and put some wood inside. Add a little alcohol to help the wood catch fire more easily than light it. Once the fire begins to burn steadily, the charcoal inside gradually starts heating up. When the hot glue on the first mechanism has dried, and all the parts are firmly secured, I bring the device over to the kitchen table. Push the aluminum rod from the bottom of the onion up through the top, then feed the rod through the milk can. Start turning in the direction of the raised cutting edge on the bottom of the can. Thin onion slices begin separating fairly evenly, while the sharp onion fumes do not rise directly into your face the way they do when cutting onions normally. I continue with another onion to test it again. The mechanism still turns smoothly, the following slices are fairly consistent in thickness, and the onion continues moving through the cutting area. The onion has been sliced fairly evenly, but I want to see whether this mechanism can handle another ingredient. Replace the onion with a potato, push the rod through it, and keep turning. The potato is cut into a long spiral shape, creating something similar to a tornado potato. Now let us return to the mini grill again. The charcoal inside is now hot enough for cooking. Place the sausages on the grill grate and let the heat from the charcoal cook the surface. The second can finally reveals its purpose from an old milk can. It has become a small grill that can be used for cooking sausages. So from two cans that seemed destined for the trash, we now have two completely different tools. Which idea do you think is more useful? Comment 1 for the onion slicer or 2 for the mini grill. Thank you for watching until the end and for always supporting the channel.